Oh, I'll obey him. That's what I'm here for, isn't it?
We are talking Robin of Sherwood Season 1, Episode 5, Alan a Dale. Now, Alan a Dale is actually an existing character that existed in the historical poems of Robin Hood, although he was added later. He wasn't in the very original poems of the Robin Hood, along with kind of, you know, Friar Tuck and, you know, Little John and all that. He was a later addition in poems, but still kind of quite a character that has had a long kind of history up until this point. And the idea with this particular episode originally was going to be introducing Alan a Dale as a reoccurring character. So what's the story? Well, Alan a Dale is a minstrel who is searching for his beloved, his lover, who is actually due to be married to the Sheriff of Nottingham, and she's just a 16-year-old girl. And he kind of runs across the Robin Hood and, you know, his band of outlaws, and they agree to kind of try and help him to win back his lover, along with kind of getting the dowry to help the villagers, etc. In the meantime, obviously, you've got the sheriff trying to prepare for his wedding, and you know, he has Mildred, who is this kind of young girl who is due to be married to the sheriff, and she's obviously not particularly kind of happy about it. What will happen? You'll have to watch the episode and find out. So, again, what works in this particular episode, and I'll say it many a time when reviewing this series, Nicholas Grace, Robert Addy, the Sheriff of Nottingham and Guy of Gisborne, their sequences are always golden. I think they have some great kind of interactions, and there's a sequence, for example, where they're at their dinner and Mildred is there, and she's not too happy to be there, and the Sheriff of Nottingham character's name's Robert de Reyno, and he's just kind of trying to plan the wedding, so to speak, and it's a great sequence. And there's also quite a tender sequence with Guy of Gisborne and Mildred, where she's kind of lamenting what she's going to do about her kind of life going forward, and it actually gives you, I think, a little bit of nuance with Guy of Gisborne's character, who you feels a little bit sympathetic towards Mildred. It's actually quite a good performance, because he doesn't say anything, but you just feel he's kind of has some sympathy towards her. He is quite sort of patient with her in a way, and I thought that gives kind of the Guy of Gisborne character a little bit of nuance in his kind of character. So that was pretty good. So yeah, I think some of those kind of character moments are quite fun. We get a kind of like a sequence where these, you know, our outlaws, our wolf's heads, kind of sneak in to the castle, Nottingham Castle, in disguise and things. And there's a couple of kind of humorous moments in this particular episode, and I think this episode has some more romantic kind of overtones. There's a couple of kind of quite nice shots at the very end where we see where Mildred is rescued and they're kind of getting married in the forest. There's a great shot where they're kind of getting married by Friar Tuck, and all the kind of the swords are in the ground in the foreground. I think it was a great shot. So there is some kind of nice technical elements in this particular episode. What doesn't work, okay, so the reason why the Alan a Dale character wasn't brought back as a returning character as originally planned was because the actor was quite poor in regards to his performance as Alan a Dale, and the kind of creators here thought, no, we don't want him back. We're going to kind of, this is going to be a one and done. Now, his character is played somewhat comedically. He's meant to be a kind of soppy minstrel who's kind of constantly kind of talking in like a rhyme almost, but it doesn't really work, to be honest. It isn't the best performance, but I think he is hampered by the way his character is written. I don't know, the way it's turned out was the actor's kind of interpretation of it, or that's how he was directed. But for whatever the reason, it comes across as a bit of a bit of a lettuce ultimately, and it is not sort of particularly sort of a memorable character as such. I think overall this particular episode feels the most throwaway out of the entire season 1. It doesn't really feel like it matters very much. There is also a little bit of dodgy effects here. So this is a 1984, and they've used video effects to try and have these bees on screen. And even back then, when I first watched this episode, I thought the effect looked a bit crap, and obviously by today's standards, it looks real bad. One of the few times they used like kind of VFX in this show, and obviously it's not particularly not particularly good. And I just think that kind of the sneaking into the Nottingham as in disguise, it's one of those tropes which is done a few too many times. We've already seen it done in this season, and we're only on kind of episode 5, and they've already done this now a couple of times. It's a little bit like Star Wars, and they always kind of disguise themselves as stormtroopers. They do it just a little bit too much, and the effect, I think, is not as clever. So I think this particular episode actually is the weakest in the entire season 1 and the most forgettable. I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. What did you think of it? Please do leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.